And we're going to continue what is said at the beginning of Hebrews, where the author of Hebrews talks about how Jesus is superior to the angels. He writes, "For to which of the angels did God ever say, 'You are my son, today I have begotten you'? Or again, 'I will be his father, and he will be my son'? And again, when he brings the firstborn into the world, he says, 'Let all God's angels worship him.' Of the angels, he says, 'He makes his angels winds and his servants flames of fire.' But of the Son, he says, 'Your throne, O God, is forever and ever, and the righteous scepter is the scepter of your kingdom. You have loved righteousness and hated wickedness. Therefore God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness beyond your companions.'" This is the word of the Lord. Last weekend we were busy with the children's Christmas program, and while busy with that, I would talk to some other people about the children's Christmas programs in their own church. And I learned that in some churches, they actually use a live baby for baby Jesus in their children's Christmas program. Can you still not hear me? I have to use this? Sorry. This is not working at all? Okay, let me start again. The Christmas program, I was talking to other people about our Christmas program and what they did in theirs, and some people said they use a live baby in their Christmas program, and I was totally taken by that idea. Now, I know if you were to give your baby to be part of the Christmas program, there's a certain risk involved, your precious child, but to use a real baby in a children's program is so compelling because there is nothing as captivating as an actual child. When's the last time you looked into the eyes of a baby? When you look into the eyes of a baby, you notice a few things. And one of the first things you notice is that baby is generally looking right back at you. In fact, the eyes of babies seemingly are taking everything in. They are just as captivated by your face as you are captivated by their chubby cheek face. Now, we look into the eyes of infants and we wonder, what are they seeing exactly? What are they thinking? And we have a sense that deep below those eyes there is a whole vast neurological universe in that little baby's brain. One of the things that makes Christmas so appealing is that Jesus comes to us as this baby, this little infant, a real flesh and blood baby, lying in a manger, cooing and cawing. There's something quintessentially human about this. But what I want to remind you of this morning is the other side of Christmas, and that is the divine side, the side that John 1 and Hebrews 1 reminds us of, that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. How in these last days God has spoken to us by His Son. A couple of years ago, a survey was done around Christmas time, and the question that was asked of people is this: did Jesus, the Son of God, exist before being born in Bethlehem? You want me to read that question again? The question was, did Jesus, the Son of God, exist before being born in Bethlehem. And here's the thing, 59% of the people answered, no, Jesus did not exist before being born in Bethlehem. Now, I hope all your eyebrows are raised high in shock, because you know that the New Testament tells us something totally different. You know that the New Testament tells us that Jesus was busy long before he was born in Bethlehem. Jesus was busy bringing forth creation. John 1 tells us all things came into being through him. Hebrews 1 tells us by his Son, God created all things in the beginning. And so when we see the images from the James Webb Telescope and we see how vast this cosmos is, we have to ponder the reality that Jesus brought this all into being. Now, the writers of the New Testament were highly aware of this great paradox. This paradox that the one who brought forth this seemingly infinite magnitude of the cosmos is the same one who was lying serenely in a manger. That the one who carries and sustains this whole creation is also the one who was carried and sustained in the womb of Mary. That the one who brought forth life on our planet is also the one whose life was dependent on his mother. This is the great paradox of the incarnation. But in the book of Hebrews, that paradox has yet another level, because the book of Hebrews was written to whom? To the Hebrews, to the Jews. And the Jews were very monotheistic. Every morning they said, the Lord our God is one. What were they to do with Jesus? Well, the author of Hebrews says, we view the Father as God. We view the Son as God. But there are not two gods, there is one God. The Father and Son are equal in glory, equally worthy of worship. And so perhaps even more than the death and resurrection of Jesus, which is a great mystery, the incarnation of Jesus, namely the reality that this pre-existing divine Jesus became flesh and blood and was born in Bethlehem, that incarnation was just mind-boggling for the Jews of that time. And it remains mind-boggling for us. This is a deep mystery. This is a paradox to ponder. You know, from the earliest days of the church, Christians gathered to ponder this great mystery. And when they gathered to ponder it, they didn't call it Christmas. They called it the Feast of the Incarnation. And this feast included a meal. And this meal did not only remind them of the death and resurrection of Jesus, but it also reminded them, and it reminds us, of who Jesus is. The one who is both fully human and fully divine. You know, last week we at Woodlawn, we all came forward and we brought our gifts up front, and that was a beautiful, chaotic thing. This week, you will be invited forward as well, but instead of giving, you will be receiving. You will be receiving a gift that this world cannot give. You will be receiving the taste, the connection, the sacrament of the Creator and Redeemer of all things in the bread and in the cup. Now we come pondering. We come pondering how the holy presence can be contained in a little piece of bread and a little cup of juice. Just like on this Christmas morning, we come pondering how the holy presence could be contained in a tiny infant of flesh and blood lying in a manger. And so, people of God, come forward. Take the bread, take the cup, ponder quietly, ponder reverently, ponder joyfully how Jesus humbly came to us, full of grace and truth, so that we might be filled with his grace and truth.